I'm going to start.
Well, 2 thoughts, 1 action. So it's already started.
Oh, okay, good, great. Thank you, Lars. So hello, everybody, and welcome to this about 50 minutes introduction webinar of the Competella Contact Center. And then I say beep, Lars. So my name is Sofia Svensson, and I am the hostess of this session. Normally I'm working with marketing, or on Enghouse it's actually called demand generation. And with me today I have Lars Fredstedt. He is the main speaker, and he's working as a sales manager for the channel and also for direct sales. If you have any questions during this session, please send them to the chat function, and I will in the end read them up, and Lars and I will try to answer them. If there are questions that we cannot answer, we will actually send them out afterwards. Together with this webinar, as always, we would love you to fill in a follow-up survey that I will send in the chat during the session, and also send out afterwards with a recording of the webinar. So beep once again, Lars. So this is the agenda. A little bit of actually the acquisition of the from Enghouse by Competella. So you have heard a bit about that. Some of you, are maybe old to Competella, and some are new to Competella, so you know a bit about it. Lars is going to talk a bit about the Competella Communication Suite, so you have an overview of these kind of solutions. And then the most important part will be the live demonstration that will take the longer part of this session of the Competella Contact Center Solutions. He will talk about Contact Center Work Group, which is an advanced hunt group. He will talk about Contact Center Enterprise and give you a 360 view to empower agents of it. He's also going to show a bit about the supervisor and agent tools, as well as statistics, log, and some category codes that you can use for planning and utilization and business intelligence. And then also, of course, how to manage the Competella Communication Suite and delegate access of it. He will also talk a bit about the enhanced 360 view and the CRM Gateway, and also the voice recording possibilities. He will also in the end talk about the Competella team's extended integration and how easy it is to onboard on this solution. And as already mentioned, in the end, we will have a Q&A. So now I'm going to hand over to Lars.
Yes, and I also needed to unmute myself. Thank you very much for that, Sophia. So shortly about Competella, which was founded back in 2009 and was this year in June acquired by Enghouse Systems Limited from Canada. We are now part of a larger corporation which has an annual revenue of 325 million euros, and it's a profitable business year over year. So therefore you have really some good stability if you should choose us. Enghouse has more than 36 years of contact center expertise, and they are supporting thousands of customers globally on many different platforms. And they do that with the world's broadest portfolio of contact center solutions that they acquire and develop in-house. Enghouse consists of roughly 2,000 employees that are spread across the world. So what about the future then with Competella? Well, Enghouse Interactive have stated that they intend to continue to build upon the Competella success through ongoing investments in the products. That means, of course, development, future development of the products. They would like, of course, to increase the customer service excellence and distribution of our solution also through the Enghouse channels in order to provide the solutions and services that the Enghouse customers expect. But also our existing customers and partners will be offered access to the Enghouse interactive suite of contact center, video conferencing, and self-service products. If you want to know more about the company, please go to enghouseinteractive.com. The Competella Communication Suite is a native solution for Microsoft Teams. It's SaaS-based, and it is located in Azure. It consists of, on a high level, of a contact center solution as well as an attendant console solution for the traditional switchboard. Our solutions are used today by around 700 customers, and those comprise of 680,000 users. And we go to market both direct as well as indirect. That means that we have also a large partner network who can help with all the other solutions that you typically would require when you move to Microsoft Teams. So that would be the Teams ecosystem. We are more than happy to announce that the Competella solution have now passed the Microsoft Teams Contact Center certification. And when Microsoft speak about this certification program, they compare it to, for instance, the ISO 27001, which is extensive, but they say that this certification actually goes beyond the level of the ISO 27001, and we have been accredited within all the areas that Microsoft have laid out as ground for the certification. So it means that it's not only a stable company, it's also a stable solution, as well as it's a secure solution that you can trust. The Competella Communication Suite for Teams consists on a high level of three major product lines, and we're going to speak about two of them today, which is the Competella Contact Center Enterprise, which provides a 360-degree view for the agents, both showing the queue status as well as agent status, showing the calls waiting in line, having a good grab of the current incoming call, but also showing presence and history of the caller, of when the caller dialed in the last time, who they were speaking to, and showing presence of subject matter experts in the company. The Competella Contact Center Enterprise comes with rich historical statistics and different add-ons that are also available for the Competella Contact Center Workgroup, which we also are going to speak about today. And that is our advanced hunt group solution, typically used by either work groups or teams. Some blue-collar workers use it also if they want to have blue-collar workers receiving calls as contact center agents, or for instance, directly on their mobile phones. Or it's often also on-call agents that use this type of solution. The Competella Attendant Console is a little bit different, whereas the two other contact center solutions, typically what the agents do is to handle the call from cradle to grave, what would also be called a first-time resolution, whereas the Competella Attendant Console is the switchboard solution used by the receptionist, who receives calls typically on the main number or the main numbers of the branch offices, interviewing the caller about who or what topic they would like to speak to somebody in the company about, find the right person who's, by the way, available, and do a professional transfer of the call to some kind of subject matter expert in the company. When you engage with us as a cloud solution for the contact center or for the attendant console, what you need to know is that actually the basic queuing of calls into your contact center or Attendant Console is included in the agent licensing. However, if you would like to do some kind of skill-based routing and thereby need our IVR Express in front of the queuing to branch out the calls to different queues and services below, then that is an add-on license. And of course, the advantage of using the IVR Express is that you can also gather statistics of what choices have been made in the IVR. Plus, you have one single point of administration towards your contact center. Now I'll move over to the more live part of the contact center live demonstration, and what we'll start with, and what you're seeing right now is a Teams user, Olivia Green. Olivia is currently logged into the Competella Agent Portal app for the contact center workgroup. And in that, Olivia has the ability to either go online or offline. She can also choose where to receive the calls. So that could be in Teams, so wherever she's logged in with Teams. It could be another device, which is some kind of PSTN number, or it could be simultaneous ring. So simultaneous ring, for instance, and this answering calls on other devices than Teams is not supported by the native call groups on Teams. So this is functionality that we add beyond what call groups can do. But furthermore, in this portal, Olivia has the ability also to enter and leave the different agent groups that are connected to the queues, which are listed here below. And the queues is shown with the status of, for instance, how many calls are waiting, how many agents are logged in, how many are busy in a call, and so on. Since Olivia is a supervisor, she also has the ability actually to open and close the different queues, and that could be useful, for instance, if there is a requirement to have a meeting within the particular group during the day, and then if the queue is closed during the day, then it will follow the settings of the call flow when the queue is closed from the administration portal. When another thing that of course is important for the agents is that they have access to the call history and the call history of the actual contact center, and that they can get also in the agent portal. So here I have the ability to search and filter down on the individual queues. If I would like to do that, I can also search for specific calls, missed or handled calls, and then I have a date range. So what it shows here are the calls that have been done throughout the day today. We can see the A number of the different callers. We can see which queues have been involved, and also we can see the call direction plus who the call was handled by. And if I would like to either copy out the DID number, the phone number of the caller, I can do that, or I can double click here to actually do an outbound call to the particular contact that dialed in. So right now Olivia is logged in to the agent portal as a contact center work group, and what I'll now do is to make a live call into the queue. So right now it's showing a call to the support English queue, and Olivia is then answering the call. You can see here that this is actually the resource account, the bot that is represented here, as well as we can see the phone number of the caller that have been dialing in. So the rest of the call handling is done in what is possible with the native Teams client. And of course, had I chosen that Olivia should either use simultaneous ringing or another device, then the call would have been distributed elsewhere. Worth mentioning is that with the contact center workgroup, you do not necessarily have to be a Teams user. You can actually just be a non-Teams user, meaning actually you can receive calls even though you have not been created as a Teams user on the PSTN number. So therefore, there can be some licensing savings that you can actually do with that. So that ends the part of the demo, which is about the contact center workgroup. I'll now move over to opening up the contact center, the Competella contact center agent, and what it does is that it piggybacks on the authentication of the Teams client, which is already logged in, and then it's doing the remaining part of the authentication up against Office 365. So we'll just wait a second until it opens up. Yes. That's apparently a slow internet connection or something right now. So, but now we are almost there. So again, a prerequisite to log into the Competella agent is that you are already logged in with the Teams user in the agent. And of course, have you not been created as an agent, then you cannot open up the Competella agent client. Looking at it at a glance, the upper parts of the user interface is for call handling and information purposes, and then the lower part is for directory as well as call log purposes. So let me just start in the top, explaining a little bit. Olivia, of course, logged in here as an agent, can of course change her status in the queue. So either go available or paused. She has the ability to change in the look and the feel. So if I don't want to have this overview of the other agents that are logged in but paused right now, then I could choose to remove that. If I would like to filter down on who is actually in the individual queues, then I can also do that. Further up here in the top, when I'm dialing out, and this is of course very smart, that when you dial out, that you do not show your own personal DID number in Teams, but instead you show the queue number that you are actually receiving the calls on, and meaning also that if you dial out to a customer, that they will see the queue number, and then they will be directed directly back to the queue instead of the individual, which is of course one of the main purposes of having a contact center. I can choose to monitor some users from the organization. So what I have here is a couple of Teams users, Max Lemon and James Lime. If I would not like to have those tagged and monitored, then I can also hide that. If I do not want to have the incoming queue window, and that, I would say that's very valuable information to be able to see what calls are waiting in line right now, which queue did they come into, how long have they been waiting, but also the smart thing with the Competella Contact Center Enterprise is that you can actually cherry pick calls from the queue by just double clicking on the individual call instead of using the automated or the skill-based routing. If you need to park calls, you can place them over here. On the left-hand side in the middle, I have a counter. So this is summarizing throughout the day how many calls have I had, how long was my previous call, how long is the ongoing call that I would be in. And this area is for the actual ongoing inbound call. And should I need, for instance, to create a three-party conference or do a consult transfer to a colleague, then I will enable this right-hand side field. My search field and the directory is fed by Azure AD. So it means that everything comes, you can say, from IT, but should your customer, or should you have the requirement to import external databases, then we can of course help you to do that. We just need them in a CSV format, and then we will map them into your tenant database of the Competella solution. So right now I've searched for sales, and in this case I searched for Max, and then I get the information that he's currently away, his Teams client, and he's, by the way, married to Emma Blue, who is in help desk DK, so a short information about him. But also keywords as a subject matter expert have been added to him, so he knows something about the Attendant Console, he knows something about Teams, and the Enghouse, and so on. So he's a good guy to know also when we do some live calls. So that leads me to making a call. So first one, and I'll do a second one also. So 2 calls are now on the way in. So we get the first one shown and presented, and you can see the Teams toast here. So the calls are actually going on in Teams in the background. I've received the caller. We are currently speaking to each other. As part of the 360-degree view, we also see that last time that this particular phone number dialed in was today at 4 minutes past 1, and it was last transferred to Max Lemon, who's, by the way, currently away. If I would like to look at the details of Max, then I can do that. But also, if I would like to enhance my 360-degree view of this particular phone number that called in, I can press the information button, and then I get a full overview of all calls that have been done to or from this particular phone number in Teams. And that gives me, of course, a good overview. Makes it possible for me to relate to the customer. Should I have the need to do a consult transfer to Max, and maybe Max, he is the subject matter expert that the customer would like to speak to, then I do this consult transfer to Max, and now the caller that called in, he is put on hold and getting music waiting. I'm now connected to Max. I can explain a little bit about the purpose of the call from the customer, and then Max might say, hey Lars, it's not up to you. Well, maybe you can solve this yourself, but can you please make a 3-party conference? So I used the short key to do that, and now both the customer Max and Olivia is in the conversation, and then Max, he might say, well, Lars, you don't, or Olivia, you don't have the skills to handle this, so please bring the call to me, and I just press enter, and now Max and the original caller are speaking to each other. So I have something here in the background that I just need to press once. And then now Olivia being available again and ready now to, for instance, take a new call. So a new call will be coming in. I answered the call, and we are now speaking apparently again to the same caller. I can then say, okay, but you spoke to Max just a second ago. Would you like to speak to him again? And then if I do like this, then Max and the original customer are actually speaking to each other. And now I'm being prompted for the category code. For business intelligence purposes, these are subjects of what I've been speaking with the customer about, and it could, for instance, be autumn, and then we save that. Very good. So that takes me now to speak a little bit about our the management of the solution, and of course the supervision of the solution. So Olivia Green is actually a supervisor. She has this, a supervisor role given to her. So therefore, of course, she has also the full overview of the other agents and how long time they have been in the current state. But also what Olivia can do if we, for instance, have a busy period of time, then she can actually make more agents available because she has the permissions to do so. And then in the top, I have the queues represented. So here I can see how many calls are waiting and how many agents are logged in. As part of the enhanced supervision view, you also have the Competella Quality Monitor. So this is a web-based application, which you can either, of course, if you have the wish to do so use it as a wall board and put it on big screens, or it could be on the second screen. And here, in this case, it's surveillancing 5 queues. So this is very easy to configure. So if I would like to edit, for instance, one of the queues, then I have it here, and then I can choose what metrics that I would like to see available. And what it shows, of course, are a summarization of the values throughout the day, and also how many agents are available. But that's also shown up here in the top, as well as you can see how many calls are waiting in line. So let me just show you how it looks when currently no agents are logged in. And I'll place a call. Oh, and quickly, actually, now we have not only one call waiting, but very soon we have 2 calls waiting in line. So, and then in real time, the quality of service will drop, of course, if the calls are abandoned, or if the waiting time gets too long, and so on. Since Olivia is currently not logged in, then the calls are not being served to her, but actually, as an agent in the contact center enterprise, even though you are in pause mode, you can actually pick the calls from the queue and answer them. So if I just double click on them, then I will actually get the call served to me. So yes. So that was more of the supervisor features, and that takes me to the next part of the demo, where I'll be logging in to the administration portal, the management portal of the Competella solution. So we just need to go through the Microsoft 365. Oh. Like this. We have not set up the MFA on this one, so I'm being prompted quite a few times. Sorry for that. But it is our demo user, of course. And now I'm logged into the Competella management tools. So what we could start showing you here is, for instance, the different parts of the statistics and logs that the Competella solution offers. And that is, for instance, the conversation log. The conversation log is where you manage the categories, meaning the wrap-up codes that you are using in the contact center enterprise. So here you can add new category codes and then add them based on what queue or service that you would like to use them on, so that the agents are served with the relevant category codes for the calls that they're actually handling based on the particular queue they have received the calls on. But also in the conversation log, you have the ability to search for specific callers. Let me just see. Like this. No, that was not it. Well, then we just do like this instead. So here I have done a date search from the 13th of September to the 13th of October. I could choose to do it based on specific agents and maybe based on specific category codes, and see how many of the different types of calls that we have had. So in this case, 4 concerning the contact center enterprise category. If now the caller should call CompetellaDemo.com and say, "Hi, I've been a happy customer of yours for a long time, but I don't want all my history saved with you. So in accordance to the GDPR, I would like you to anonymize all records that are connected to my phone number." And then you just click here after you found them, and then you can anonymize these records so they cannot be recreated, and thereby you are living up to the GDPR. Moving on to further parts of the Competella statistics and logs. So the logs, typically you would be using them to either get some information about the agent activity, but also on the call log. So that's where you go into the raw material of the individual call. So in this case, I'm searching for a particular phone number in a particular time range from the 1st of October and the remaining part of this month. And then I do a refresh and I see all calls where this particular phone number have been involved. Where would you need this? Well, you would need this if, for instance, if you have a customer that calls in and do some complaints about either the call handling, or maybe they experienced that they were dropped while they were in the queue or similar. Then it gives you the ability to drill down on the individual call and see, okay, well, I saw that you were dialing in on the 11th of October at 8:20, and we got a new call in, and then the call was offered to the agent, but it took some time to actually answer it, and then it was afterwards transferred, in this case, to a subject matter expert called Max Levin, and then he took over based on what you and he agreed. So that's parts of what the logs for the call logs for the Competella solution can be used for. But in general, if you need this type of information and you would like to drill down further, then you have the ability also to export this to Excel and then actually go even deeper into the material of what it is about. The statistics of the Competella solution is more about the utilization. So you find out how is my service level looking according to what the management have decided that it would be. And in the statistics designer, we from Competella have created some system templates that our customers can choose to use. So that's, for instance, about abandoned calls, the call summary, what the QoS is, and so on. So these templates, when you choose them, then you can actually also, of course, drill further down by searching on which particular queues you would like to see, what period of time or a specific date range. Of course, if you as a company are in multiple time zones, then especially our time zone selector are useful for that. And if you would like to know about calls that are made to the Competella queues outside the opening hours, then you can also actually get information about how many calls you're receiving when you are closed. So that can also be helpful, of course, for instance, your marketing department that can then send out information to your customers. So as soon as you have chosen the filtering and the grouping and the exclusions, then you have the different metrics that you can choose to incorporate into your report. And there are lots of those. So if you want to refine them, you have the possibility to do so. But I'll just do a standard report, and in this case, it shows the number of incoming calls, the number of average incoming and answered calls, and then the number of abandoned calls. And if you're looking at this on a day level, then of course it would be a good idea to group it either into every half hour, every quarter, or every hour, so you can see where is it that you are losing calls and where is it that you need to focus. And if you start using this data for really planning purposes, then you can also see when you have peak periods, if you are doing campaigns and stuff like that. But we do not only show this information in the bars and the scales that we do here. You can also get the listed information, as well as you can export this data for Excel. Both for the historical reporting as well as for the real-time reporting, which you saw before from our quality monitor, this live wallboard, we have APIs available so that you can both drill down to the historical information if you would like to do that, but you can also create your own real-time monitor wallboard, and the purposes of doing that would, for instance, be if you would like to create many different widgets where you consolidate information, for instance, from your CRM system, from your IT service management system, and so on into one view. But getting back to the statistics, when you have designed your reports and done a naming of them, if you have the scheduling licensing, then you can also schedule these reports to be sent out on a recurrent basis to the email addresses or distribution email groups that you would like to do. So that could, for instance, be every day at 5 o'clock. If that's the end of the day of the contact center, then the reports are sent to all the supervisors. They're receiving it in an email in Excel, and can see the information of the queues that they are responsible of, if they are living up to the service levels that they have committed. So scheduling of reports is also a possibility with the Competella solution. In terms of management of the solution, it's easy to manage and do adds, moves, and changes. So if I would like to do some changes on my queues, for instance, let's have a look at the one that we've been using today, the support English queue. So here you have information about how often do the hold message come, what schedule, meaning opening hours, holidays, are connected to this particular queue. Bonus time is the ability to create VIP queues, so meaning queues that are prioritized higher than other queues. If I would like to see what agent groups are connected, then in this case I have one agent group connected. But if I would like to do some kind of skill-based routing, then I can add extra agent groups into the queue, and then it will do timeouts and offering intervals. Of course, if the first agent group, no agents are available, then it will go directly to the second agent group and search for agents in that, and so on. But also the easiness of changing the sound files in the standard workflow of the Competella queuing. It's easy to change the welcome messages, the second hold message, or to enable, for instance, positioning queue announcement. So that's what you do from here. Overflows, of course, if you have different scenarios where either the number of calls waiting get too high, and then you can set what your threshold is, or if you have chosen that no callers are allowed to wait more than, I don't know, 240 seconds, and then you can set that here, and then you can choose where your calls should overflow to, what destination. Could be a voicemail, could be an external contact center, or just another queue in the Competella solution. If the queue is closed during opening hours, where should the calls go? For instance, if you have a meeting during the opening hours, this is where you put in the forwarding destination. So when the queue is closed and you can open and close it also directly from the management interface, then this is where to set it. If no agents are logged in, what then? Also, what should we do with the calls? Forward them to somewhere else, or should we just ignore it and pile up the calls, or what is the purpose driven of this? Agent groups, yeah, agent groups is where you connect your agents to. So in this case, we have the agent group that was connected to the queue that I've been using today. Here we see that we can control calls based on Teams present state. So should we still offer calls to an agent that is away, meaning yellow in Teams and so on. Here I see the member agents that are connected, and the member agents are of course received from the directory and then added the role as agent, and then you just add them to the queue or the different agent groups that you need them to. And if you want to have local administrators that can only maintain add moves and changes around the agent group and the connected queue for that, so you want to limit the access for a particular administrator, then you can do that by adding them here. And then of course showing which queue is the Support English agent group a member of. So that concludes the administration and statistics part of my demo, and I now go back to a little short PowerPoint where we speak about the enhanced 360-degree view that we can deliver with the Competella Communication Suite, and that is, for instance, with our CRM Gateway. So the CRM Gateway is, of course, as the rest and remain of the Competella solution, a cloud-based solution. It's turnkey, made as a turnkey solution for Salesforce and Microsoft Dynamics. Of course, if you and your customers have other types of ITSM or CRM systems, then we have an open API and can connect to most systems. But with the turnkey solution, we can use, for instance, the A number as a key to do a screen pop of the CRM system. We can retrieve information from the CRM system and show it directly in the agent client. So that could be the customer name, could be last activity that you had with the customer. But we can also use CRM data to do VIP routing or move callers to specific queues or move them forward in the queue. The other part of the enhanced 360-degree view, and that's of course also retrospective, is the recording integration that we have done. It integrates to the compliance recording API from Microsoft, and it uses a recording bot in Azure. So here you can choose to record all calls on the different queues that you have. So it's inbound or outbound, or you can also, if you don't want to do full-time recording, you can do on-demand recording through the Competella agent client and start the recording there. Access to the different recordings are done through the management interface, and you can assign different roles to different users, and depending on your user access, you can listen to the recordings, you can download or you can delete them. So how is it then when you want to onboard a Competella solution? Is that difficult, or is it very easy? Well, we would say that since the Competella solution is extend model integrated, and it means that we are keeping all the media streams inside inside Teams, we would say that it's very easy, because all you need to do with the customer's Azure tenant is to register 5 apps. It's a calling bot, the identity server app, presence server app, the Azure user importer app, and the Azure calendar sync app. And as soon as we receive the credentials of those apps, then we create the Competella tenant, which is also located in Teams. Sorry, not in Teams, but in Azure. And we put in the credentials of that, and then you appoint the customer administrator or the partner administrator who should have access to this Competella tenant, and then you can start doing the core configuration of the tenant. So easy does it. If you want to, you can be up and running within if you have full control of your Azure within a few hours, or at least within a few days. And we offer a free trial of the Competella solution. So if you would like to sign up, you are of course most welcome to do so. That ends my presentation. Do we have any questions, Sophia?
Yes, we do. Yes,
Fantastic.
we do. And actually, one of the questions was, what is the effort to migrate the Competella solution from a Skype-based solution to a cloud solution with integration to Teams, just in general? And I think you actually answered that in the last thing, didn't you?
Yeah, it's easy to migrate, of course. If you're using a Competella for Skype for Business solution today, then you would need to recreate your call flows in the Competella SaaS based solution. So, but all the user data of the individual users come from your Azure AD. So that part is very easy. But you have two choices with the Competella solution, because when you have it for Skype for Business, you can also choose to use that in a hybrid mode, where you keep your Skype for Business servers on-prem as a queuing engine, and then calls are received by the Teams users of that particular organization. But it depends on, if you have a cloud-first strategy, I would move directly to the Competella Communication Suite for Teams. So that's the SaaS-based solution. Yes.
Okay, good. And then we take the first question then.
Okay.
We have some here. Will the Competella solution be continued and developed upon now that Enghouse have their own contact center solution? I think that's a good question.
Yeah, that's a really good question. Well, I think I stated that also in the beginning, that Enghouse have stated that they want to keep investing in the Competella communication suite. So they have, of course, with the Competella company taken over also a lot of customers. So they will follow the life cycle of those products. And I'm happy to say that we have our good developers who knows our product located in Stockholm, the Stockholm area, that will keep doing the development of the Competella solution for the future also. Yes.
How is this Competella different from the other Enghouse solutions? I mean, is it very different, or is it are they quite similar? Or?
Actually, Enghouse has a lot of solutions, so it's a little bit difficult for me to answer, because I don't know them that well yet. But there are differences of the capabilities in terms of, for instance, if a solution is omni-channel or not. And right now, the Competella solution is a voice-based solution. But it's also a matter of how does it integrate to the PBX, and the focus, of course, of the Competella solution. And that's the reason why we have also made this native integration with the Extend model, is that it's focused on Teams only, whereas some of the other Enghouse contact centers, they can integrate to many different PBXs. That can be Cisco or you name it.
So there is actually a question. Let me see exactly. The question disappeared. Is there already a roadmap for chat and email queues?
There is a roadmap, but it's after we have been acquired by Enghouse. It's being assessed right now by the product management. So yes, so there is an unofficial roadmap which I cannot speak about today. And then, of course, a new public roadmap will be made available when product management have done the assessment of where they would like to, also based on customer input, by the way, where they would like to take the Competella product. But about, for instance, omni-channel, Enghouse has a lot of different components for omnichannel. That's if Enghouse choose to and want the Competella solution to be an omnichannel solution, then they have the ability to do that and quite easy, meaning that they do not need to do development all the way from the ground to achieve that. And the Enghouse capabilities of omnichannel is a wide range of integrations that they can do to WhatsApp and a lot of other stuff.
Yeah. So we had another one. Is it possible to specify a paused course?
A paused course. Yeah. Okay. So now, yes, I understand. We actually have the feature available, but we have not made it multi-tenancy ready yet. So this would be something that I would need to request our development department to do. But the product can do it, but of course, when you do stuff like this, then it needs to be separated between all the different tenants that are part of this public cloud solution that we offer. Yes.
Okay, I think somebody's writing a question right now. So if you want to, instead of writing, you can actually ask it, if that's more fast.
Okay, let's do it.
Yes.
Is this the Connect or Extend solution which you provide here?
We provide the Extend solution. We don't have a Connect solution from the Competella product side. So it's extended, integrated.
Okay, so the call will always stay in the Microsoft Teams tenant.
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, any other questions? It seems there are no questions more, I think. So, exactly. Thank you, Lars. To the left, you have the QR code and also the code to scan to be able to fill in a follow-up survey, which I also have sent you the URL to in the beginning of the chat in this call. And to the right, you have a scanning code for the Competella Attendant Console introduction webinar that will be on November 9th. It's a bit similar to this webinar, but the focus will be on the Attendant Console solution that we also have. So I think that is all right now, isn't it?
Yeah, but we have a couple of raised hands. So if you
Oh yeah, we do that. So
break in, please come forward.
Yeah. Dietmar Dranka, you have your hand raised, for example. If you can unmute.
Yes,
Perfect.
hello again. I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. The question is, do you have a kind of silent listening? It's when a supervisor wants to hear the call, to intrude into an existing call.
Yes, I understand your question. And it's not been possible to do this integration with the current API available for the Extend model. So it means that, yeah, as soon as Microsoft, they will release a feature that can support this, then we will actually do it. It was something that we were capable of doing with our Skype for Business portfolio, software portfolio, and that we had. So we could both do silent whisper, listen in, and barge into the conversation with that. But currently we are limited to what Microsoft gives us on the possibility side with that.
Okay, so we have to hope for the future.
Yes.
Yes, or make a wish on the tech sides of Microsoft and ask them to provide this, because they actually listen also to their customers. So and that helps us as vendors, of course, also. But you can be rest assured that we have already asked Microsoft also ourselves to provide this capability, because it is, of course, widely used by contact centers and customer service around the world.
But the more the merrier, I'd say.
Yes.
Yes, and then we have,
Okay, thank you.
I think, thank you. We have Thomas Kindler, who has raised his hand too.
Yes, I think you forgot the last question from my colleague Kai. He asked, is there already a roadmap for chat and email queues?
Okay.
It has been answered, I think.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, it's yeah, it's a little bit unclear right now, but I know that there are talks about it, and
Yes.
we have the different components yeah, in the Enghouse portfolio of software and processes. So it's better off that the decision is actually made by product management in Enghouse that they would like to do this. So, but I can do that prior to that Enghouse bought Competella, it was part of the roadmap.
Yes, and I can tell you, they hope that they will have a roadmap ready maybe in November timeframe, something like that.
Where the new roadmap is assessed and published, yes.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah. Any last questions?
I think we finished now.
Great. We also went a little bit over time.
Yeah.
So for all of you, thank you a lot for attending this webinar. We are always happy to have listeners and also receiving some good questions. If you have even more questions, you are most welcome to contact me. I'm responsible for the areas outside the Scandinavian region, and if you have questions in the Scandinavian area, I have all my good colleagues that are able to help you also. So with that, thank you a lot for your participation, and I hope to see you again soon.
And thank you for a lot of good questions too. Very nice. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.